Krishna, and it is describing the story of a king known as King Prachina Barhisha. So, in the Bhagavatam, there is whole philological order of the descendants. So, King Prachina Barhisha, he is the descendant of Prathu Maharaj. So, he comes in the line of Prathu Maharaj. So, Prathu Maharaj, once he performed yajna, satisfied with the deep personality of Godhead, and that yajna, there was a horse meant for the sacrifice, but that horse was stolen by King Indra because he was very much insecure about his position. Suppose Prathu Maharaj completes all his Ashwamedha yajnas, 100 Ashwamedha yajnas, and he will take my position. He was very much insecure. So even Indra, when the demigods have these insecurities, you can understand that my position will be taken away. Then we see in our material life also, everybody loves their position. They want to retain their position. They want to see that nobody takes away their position. Especially you can see this more in the politicians. They want to remain in power. For that, they are ready to do any kind of politics. So, similarly, Indra had stolen the horse which was meant for sacrifices. It is Vijitashva. This Vijitashva, when he had noticed that when Prathu Maharaj, his father, is performing these sacrifices, Indra is stealing the horse. He had noticed, but he did not say anything. Why he did not say? Out of respect. So after getting that mystic power, the validation, the word from Indra, King Vijitashva also came to be known as Antardhana. And King Antardhana had a wife, Sukhanti. It is described all his lineage, who are the next sons and children. Then in that line of descendants comes the great king Prachina Barhisha. Prachina Barhisha was very powerful king. He was also called as Barhisha and also Prachina Barhisha. In both names he had. He was very expert in performing the ritualistic sacrifices, Vedic sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas. In the Vedas, there are many sacrifices mentioned that if you do, you will get some material results. Mostly they are directed towards demigods. Even though it is mentioned in the Vedas, it is for fulfilling the material desires of people. But thereby, it is encouraging people to perform some sacrifice and elevate spiritually. But that is not the all-in-all goal of human life. The goal of human life is not to perform ritualistic sacrifices itself. By that performing of sacrifices, one elevates in his consciousness slowly. Because sacrifice means what? He has to give up something. He has to sacrifice. Kings had money, lot of wealth. So they used to sacrifice their wealth. How? Because it is mentioned, how is the yajna to be performed? There should be so many brahmanas. They should perform the yajna, qualified brahmana. There are so many items should be offered in the sacrificial fire. And all the brahmanas must be given donation. Not 101 rupees or 501 rupees donation. They have to give thousands and thousands of cows. And cows, not physically handicapped cows. Well-lived giving cows. That too, decorated with gold, silver ornaments, pearls and diamonds. Like that cows they have to give to the brahmanas. And they used to perform this sacrifice with a vow. They used to fast. But so many austerities they used to do. All these things is for making them spiritually advanced. Modern day human beings, they do not know the value of sharing or the value of giving. That is why we have this Dana Dharma. Giving, whatever you earn, that has to be shared, it has to be given for the welfare of the society. Now, where to give and who to give, that is also mentioned. Dana has to be performed. Dana Dharma, that is what is the one leg of Dharma. But who to give, that is also mentioned. So, Shastra mentioned, so Dana has to be given to the Brahmana or Vaishnavas. When you give Dana to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, the result will be, we will advance spiritually. Many people think that we should give Dana to beggars, the poor people. But you should give Dana to the properly cultured, well-trained and spiritually advanced Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, so that they will utilize the Dana for worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Where you are giving money, who is utilizing the money is very much important. How you utilize the money. Whether you are utilizing your money for self gratification or you are utilizing your money for worshipping Supreme Personality of Godhead. Somewhere or the other, you have to give money. So, better you give money instead of giving money to the rogues and thieves who will just use it for self gratification. Better is to give to the devotees, to Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, who will engage them in the worshipping Supreme Personality of God. By that, we will get punya. So, this king also was engaged with us. This is a long story, it will take a lot of time, but in short, I will explain. So, he was engaged like that. So, he had this wife. His wife name was Parhisha Havidhani. So, Havidhani was his wife. And from that, he had many children. King Prachina Barhi, he begot 10 sons in the womb of his wife, 10 sons, and they were called as Prachetas. These 10 sons were called as Prachetas. So in the Satya Yuga, this happened in Satya Yuga. So in the Satya Yuga, whenever the children they become an adult age, they are sent for performing penance. Even if they have to marry or even if they have to take the kingdom from their father for ruling, first they have to perform penance, austerities for the purification. So these 10 Prachetas also, their father Prachina Bhakti ordered them to go to the forest and perform austerities, tapasya. So these Prachetas went to forest for doing tapasya for how many years? Not 10 years, not 20 years, 10,000 years. So Prachetas, they performed austerities for 10,000 years. So how come they were able to perform austerities for so many years? Because the life during in the Satya Yuga was for 1 lakh years. Their age was, human life was for 1 lakh years. They could live for 1 lakh years. That is why 10,000 years they performed tapasya. So when the Prachetas went to the forest, there was a great lake, a very nice lake. And as soon as the Prachetas reached that forest, from that lake emerged Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva appeared from that lake. So, this indicates that whenever the Shiva wants to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or he wants to move on the spiritual path, Lord helps. He is sincere, God will send him the right person to guide him. He should be sincere. So that's why the Prachetas, they went to perform austerities, penances in the forest. From the lake emerged Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva said to the Prachetas that, my dear Prachetas, my dear princess, you are very dear to me. O sons of Prachivargi, I wish you all good fortune to you. I know your purpose in coming here. And thus, I have appeared before you just to show you mercy. You should know that anyone who is a surrendered soul unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is very dear. That is why in Bhagavad Gita and in the books, Prabhupada says, if you water the root, what will happen? The water will reach the whole part of the tree, the branches, the leaves, everybody will get the water. Similarly, if you try to please Krishna, all the demigods will be pleased by you. You did not have to make separate arrangement for pleasing Shiva or Durga or Kartikeya or Ganesha. You do not have to make separate arrangement. Just if you are doing devotional service to Lord Krishna, all the demigods, they are pleased by you. You have all their blessings. Just like Lord Shiva is saying here. Anybody who is a surrendered soul to Lord Krishna is very dear to. So you become dear to Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva, he acted as the spiritual master of the Prachetas and he instructed them how to worship Lord Krishna. It is by their great fortune that they got Lord Shiva himself as a spiritual master. Spiritual master of Prachetas was Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva himself guided them how to meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he gave them few mantras, few prayers. So while praying like this, continue to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like that, they followed the instruction of Shiva, Lord Shiva, and for 10,000 years, they meditated on Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Meanwhile, King Prachin Bharti, at his home, at his palace, Narada Muni came. So see, these Vaishnava says are so compassionate upon the Jiva that the sons are being delivered by Lord Shiva, the father is being delivered by Narada. So Narada Muni came, he visited King Prachin Bharti and he instructed him a story. He told him one story about King Puranjana. It's a very long story and very descriptive. So many details are there in this. So he said about the story of King Puranjana. King Puranjana is an imaginary character. Narada Muni wanted to actually indicate King Prachin Bharti. He wanted to tell him that this story is actually about you. Instead of taking the name of Prachin Bharti, he chose to take the name of King Puranjana. But actually, the story is about Prachin Bharti. Allegorically, he is indicating. So then he says that there was a king, Prachin Bharti, Puranjana. So very long descriptive story. And he describes the kingdom. He was a king and he had a very nice city. How his city, his fort was well protected, and there were 9 gates. These 9 gates and all are compared. The whole city, the fort is compared to the body. 9 gates are compared to the 9 holes of the body. So, in this way, Narada Muni, he describes King Puranjana's city. So he says, Puranjana had a city having 9 gates and containing all auspicious facilities. Surrounding the city were walls. These walls were compared to skin. And park. Park is compared to the haze. And within that were the towers. Towers are raised parts such as head and nose. Canals and houses whose doors were made out of gold, silver, and iron. Within the house, the floors were made of sapphire, crystal, diamonds, pearls, emeralds, and rubies. And thus, this city resembled Bhogavati. Bhogavati is the capital of the Nagas. So, here in Dakshina Kannada University, Nagas, so much. Nagas' capital city is Bhogavati. So, within that city, there were many nice assembly houses, and this capital city, Bhogavati, where the king resides, is compared to the heart of the body. So, if you consider the body to be a kingdom, so what is the capital of the body? Heart. Heart is the capital, where the king resides, where the jiva, soul resides. So, there he further goes on to say description about how this kingdom is about nice atmosphere, forest animals, they're all non-violent, non-envious, they great sages, and so many descriptions. Then he says, King Puranjana, while enjoying this kingdom, this court, suddenly he happens to see a beautiful woman and he gets attracted by that woman. By the beautiful features of the woman, he gets attracted, and then he brings that woman and he keeps with him. He makes that woman as queen of the fort, of the kingdom. He gets so much attached that he always wants to spend time with that queen, that woman, who is now his wife. So when he goes for hunting, sometimes he goes out for hunting. Kings are allowed to hunt. Kings are permitted to hunt. So when a king goes out for hunting, he kills lot of animals. And then when he comes back, again he looks for his wife. And he pleases his wife. So thus, he fully engrossed in self-gratification. In this fort, in this kingdom, this city. So, then Narada continues to say, while so enjoying King Puranjana and his wife, there comes a king, a Yavana king. A Yavana king comes and he attacks the city of King Puranjana. And the Yavana king's daughter name is Kaliyuga. Kaliyuga is the daughter of the Devaki king. So she attacks this fort or this kingdom of Devaki. That is why in Bhagavad Gita and in the books, Prabhupada says, if you water the root, what will happen? The water will reach the whole part of the tree, the branches, the leaves, everybody will get the water. Similarly, if you try to please Krishna, all the demigods will be pleased by you. You did not have to make separate arrangement for pleasing Shiva or Durga or Kartikeya or Ganesha. You do not have to make separate arrangement. Just if you are doing devotional service to Lord Krishna, all the demigods, they are pleased by you. You have all their blessings. Just like Lord Shiva is saying here. Anybody who is a surrendered soul to Lord Krishna is very dear to. So you become dear to Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva, he acted as the spiritual master of the Prachetas and he instructed them how to worship Lord Krishna. It is by their great fortune that they got Lord Shiva himself as a spiritual master. Spiritual master of Prachetas was Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva himself guided them how to meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he gave them few mantras, few prayers. So while praying like this, continue to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like that, they follow the instruction of Shiva, Lord Shiva, and for 10,000 years, they meditated on Lord Krishna's lotus feet. Meanwhile, King Prachin Bhakti, at his home, at his palace, Narada Muni came. So see, these Vaishnava says are so compassionate upon the Shiva, that the sons are being delivered by Lord Shiva, the father is being delivered by Narada. So Narada Muni came, he visited King Prachin Bhakti, and he instructed him a story. He told him one story about King Puranjana. It's a very long story and very descriptive. So many details are there in this. So he said about the story of King Puranjana. King Puranjana is an imaginary character. Narada Muni wanted to actually indicate King Prachin Bhakti. He wanted to tell him that this story is actually about you. But instead of taking the name of Prachin Bhakti, he chose to take the name of King Puranjana. But actually, the story is about Prachin Bhakti himself. Allegorically, he is indicating. So then he says that there was a king, Prachin Bhakti, Puranjana. It's a very long descriptive story. And he describes the kingdom. He was a king and he had a very nice city. How his city, his fort was well protected, and there were 9 gates. These 9 gates and all are compared. The whole city, the fort is compared to the body. 9 gates are compared to the 9 holes of the body. So, in this way, Narada Muni, he describes King Puranjana's city. So he says, Puranjana had a city having 9 gates and containing all auspicious facilities. Surrounding the city were walls. These walls were compared to skin. And park is compared to the haze. And within that were the towers. Towers are raised parts such as head and nose. Canals and houses whose doors were made out of gold, silver and iron. Within the house, the floors were made of sapphire, crystal, diamonds, pearls, emeralds and rubies. And thus, this city resembled Bhogavati. Bhogavati is the capital of the Nagas. So here in Dakshina Kannada we worship Nagas so much. Nagas' capital city is Bhogavati. So within that city there were many nice assembly houses, and this capital city Bhogavati, where the king resides, is compared to the heart of the body. So if you consider the body to be a kingdom, so what is the capital of the body? Heart. Heart is the capital, where the king resides, where the jiva, soul resides. So there he further goes on to say description about how this kingdom is about. Nice atmosphere, forest animals, they are all non-violent, non-envious, they great sages, and so many descriptions. Then he says, King Puranjana, while enjoying this kingdom, this court, suddenly he happens to see a beautiful woman and he gets attracted by that woman. By the beautiful features of the woman, he gets attracted and then he brings that woman and he keeps with him. He makes that woman as queen of the fort, of the kingdom. He gets so much attached that he always wants to spend time with that queen, that woman, who is now his wife. So when he goes for hunting, sometimes he goes out for hunting. Kings are allowed to hunt. It's are permitted to hunt. So when the king goes out for hunting, he kills lot of animals. And then when he comes back, again he looks for his wife. And he pleases his wife. So thus, fully engrossed in self-gratification. In this court, in this kingdom, this city. So, then Narada continues to say, while so enjoying King Puranjana and his wife, there comes a king, a Yavana king. A Yavana king comes and he attacks the city of King Puranjana. And the Yavana king's daughter name is Kaliyuga. Kaliyuga is the daughter of the Yavana king. So she attacks this fort or this kingdom of Puranjana. Yeah. So Narada Muni describes that this Yavana king he attacked the kingdom of King Puranjana. He killed all the ministers of King Puranjana. He killed the wife and he destroyed that fort in which he was lavishly staying and enjoying. And then finally, all those animals were hunted by him. They all attacked this King Puranjana and they killed him. So King Puranjana was attacked and he died. So there is a description how this destruction has happened. Very long description. Slowly, because of being embraced by this Kalakanya, the daughter of that Yavana king, King Puranjana gradually lost all his beauty, intelligence, opulence, and thus the Gandharvas and Yavanas easily conquered him. So they conquered him. He lost his wife, his kingdom, his fort, everything, and then he died. After he died, what happens? He takes one more birth. Next birth. Because while dying, he will remember his wife. Because he was very much attached to his wife. So, while leaving the body, while putting the body, he remembers his wife. So in Bhagavad Gita, this Lord Krishna tells that whatever you remember at the time of death, you will become that. Right? So he remembers his wife. He is very attached to his wife. So next birth, he takes birth as woman. This you should understand. That we are not eternally males or eternally females. Soul does not have any gender. Now you are in a male body. Next birth you can become a female. Or now somebody is female. Next birth they can become a male. So, next birth, this King Puranjana became a daughter of King of Vidarbha. King of Vidarbha. His name was Vaidarbhi, because he is the daughter of Vidarbha, King of Vidarbha. The name became Vaidarbhi. This king, this daughter, Princess Vaidarbhi, he married a very nice king named as Malaya Dhwaja of the Pandu country. Malaya Dhwaja. This Malaya Dhwaja, he was a very religious and pious king. And he was a devotee of Lord Krishna. So when she married King Malaya Dhwaja, King Malaya Dhwaja gave birth to many thousands of children from this daughter, Vaidarbhi. And then, after some time, he divided his kingdom into all his thousands of sons. He divided his kingdom. And he wanted to retire, wanted to go to forest, perform severe austerities, and worship Lord Krishna with full attention. So he retired to a secluded place called as Pulachal. So earlier days, when the husband used to retire for performing austerities Vanaprastha ashram. Wife also used to accompany. So, whether he also accompanied King Malayadhwaja. So he performed serious austerities, pleased the Supreme Personality Godhead, and he left his body. King Malayadhwaja left his body. While King Malayadhwaja left his body, King Vaidyanatha also wanted to end her life. She arranged for another fire, and she was cremating her husband, and she also wanted to enter that fire and end her life. But at the same time, a Brahmana comes to meet Queen Vaidyanatha. He comes and he inquires, my dear Queen, whose wife or daughter you are? Who is the man lying here? It appears that you are lamenting for this dead body. Actually, this Brahmana came. He introduced himself as he was a friend of King Puranjana from past birth. So this Brahmana is none other than Pada Paramatma, who comes to guide. This King Puranjana represents the Jiva, the spirit soul. How this Jiva, with the comfort, bodily comfort that God has provided, wants to enjoy all the facilities of life, but forget the main goal of life, which is worshipping Lord Krishna. When he does his engaged in self gratification whole life, the king, the Yavana king, he attacks. What is the king? Yavana king? Death. Death comes and attacks. So death has some children, Kalakanya and Jwara. All these children, what they do? Slowly become old. Your senses will lose the potency. Your eyes will lose the power to see. Your ears will lose the power to hear. You cannot walk. You see young people, how you can walk? Young boys, they can run, they can climb mountain. But once you become old, your knee starts paining. You cannot walk. No, one floor or two floors. If there are steps, you take lift to climb the steps. You cannot climb the stairs. So slowly you see, you observe, the body's power or the body's potency is reducing. Nowadays our eyes cannot see. Earlier they used to fight in the Mahabharata battle, they used to shoot arrows. So far they used to be. They used to shoot arrows and it used to be on the point. That arrows used to be get shot on the point. But now we require Durbil to see. You have to see far. Now we have specs. All these items are there. Because our eyes cannot see. You cannot see nearby also. What about few meters want to see and shoot an arrow? So our eyes have lost its power. Ears have lost its power. Slowly, but gradually, when old age comes, all our senses will lose power. And then death comes. And will at once remove us from this food, the body. That is the story here explained. So when this King Purajana took one more birth, that time the Brahmana came, the Brahmana instructed her that you are neither a male, you are not a female. You think sometimes that you are a man, you think sometimes that you are a woman. Last birth you were King Puranjana, and you used to think that I am king, I am man, I am king, owner of the kingdom. And this birth you are a woman, this birth you are a queen. But you are neither of that. You are the soul, or the spirit soul, who is traveling to all these bodies, experiencing different conditions of the bodies. So, the Brahmana says, you are my friend, I am your friend. Because the Brahmana represents Paramatma. Paramatma is the constant friend of spirit soul. Any number of words to take, Paramatma is always accompanying us. He knows all our past, present and future births, all our activities. Paramatma knows. So, the Brahmana says, Paramatma and Atma, they both are friends, living on the same tree, the same branch. But the Jiva soul, the Jiva, they are compared to birds, two birds. The Jiva bird is busy enjoying the fruits of that branch. And the Paramatma bird is simply watching. These two birds are always there in the body. One is Atma, one is Paramatma. So Brahmana reminds that daughter, that Vaihadri, that you are a spirit soul. You must perform your duties. Your real goal of life you should achieve. Do not lament for all these temporal phases. So then, this story ends. Then Narada Muni, he is instructing King Prachinavargi that the story which I said is actually about you. I have narrated the story of Puranjana to you for the purpose of self-realization, so that you realize yourself that how death is coming nearby. It will take away all your facilities, even though you are a king enjoying an opulent kingdom. Death will come and take it away. You cannot enjoy, you cannot continue to enjoy these facilities for longer period. So, and it is meant for indirectly understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You should understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My dear Lord, then Prachinavargi said, my dear Lord, I could not fully appreciate the purport of the allegorical story of King Puranjana. For persons like us who are overly attached to fruitful activities, it is very difficult to realize the meaning of such instructions. Even though Narada Muni so nicely explained the story of the King Puranjana, King Prachinavargi said, I could not fully appreciate the purport of this story. Why he could not appreciate? Because they are very much attached to the fruitful activities. That is why he could not much appreciate. Because they are attached to these fruitful activities, want to enjoy the fruits of his actions, and wants to enjoy his senses. Unless we are always engrossed in sense gratification. No, if we are engrossed in sense gratification, we cannot understand the real purport of Srimad Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. That is why we have to engage in devotional service. When we start engaging in devotional service and we continue and slowly we progress, then actually we can understand and appreciate what is the message in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And our devotional service starts from chanting Hare Krishna. So that is why anybody, new person comes, what we say to him, start chanting. Once somebody starts chanting the holy names of Krishna, it slowly start making progress in spiritual life. Otherwise, without chanting, if anybody comes to read this Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, he will not truly appreciate. He may read, but he will not understand. So, for truly understanding the purport, the meaning, we have to do practical. Here you may read, but practical is also required. So, in all theory, in the books, Prabhupada always stresses upon chanting Hare Krishna. Please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, just in mere knowledge will not help. Along with that knowledge, you should know practicals. You should do some practical activity. Chanting is beginning of that activity. Otherwise, knowledge even Hiranyakashipu had, even Ravana also had knowledge. But it did not help. You should act upon that knowledge. Then only you will benefit. So, chanting is very important. That will start our spiritual account. We start chanting. You can take one is a new person. You can take 1 round at the beginning. Start chanting 1 round. And from there, gradually progress towards 16 rounds. Slowly. But one must start chanting. Then only one can appreciate this message, this story of King Puranjana. You can find in Canto 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam. You try to read it after you go to home. Try to understand. It is very deep. And so many details are there in this story. For a common person, not understand, not appreciate what it is told. Not appreciate. Just like for a kindergarten student, if you teach higher mathematics, you will not be able to appreciate. He has to advance his consciousness. He has to increase his knowledge and advance his consciousness. Then only he can appreciate the higher thing. That is why advancing consciousness is required. So, see, Prabhupada, he termed our Krishna Bhakti as Krishna consciousness. Consciousness. So, you should advance in consciousness only. So, afterwards, Narad Muni, he instructs King Prachina Barhi on the instruction of Narada Muni. He retired. So, meanwhile, the Prachetas, they performed their emotional service to Lord Krishna. Lord Vishnu appeared in front of them, and Lord Vishnu blessed them. My dear devotees, I bless you with all kinds of benedictions. That even though you may rule the world, still you will come back to me, my supreme home. So King Prachina Barhi now, Prachetas came back to the kingdom. He handed over the kingdom to his sons and he went to perform austerities. Thereby, he also got liberated. He went back to Godhead, the kingdom of God. This was the facility which was there in Satyuga. But in Satyuga, for going back to Godhead, is very difficult. You have to perform penance for thousands of years. And with our present Kaliyuga body, you cannot perform penance. They used to fast for thousands of years. Can you imagine fasting for thousands of years? One Nirjala Ekadashi, one day you do. You understand what is fasting for thousands of years. So they used to fast like that for thousands of years. In the forest, what will you get? Nothing will get. You will not get chappal, hope, not get items to eat. Whatever fruits or leaves they get, or whatever water, river water they get, they used to drink and used to. So that's a very difficult, very much difficult process for getting self-realization, for getting the knowledge of self-realization, for pleasing the Supreme Lord. Projection is not possible for them. But the Lord, knowing that in Kaliyuga Jivas, they cannot perform these austerities in very difficult or Kaliyuga body. 3 days if you fast, Nirjala will become weak and will become bedridden. So our capacity is not right. So that is why we are being given very easy process. Krishna is not telling you that you can only should fast for thousands of years or meditate for thousands of years. We cannot meditate. If you sit for meditation, either you will be, or you will think about so many things. Oh, that person told me like this. Why he told me? Now next time I will reply him. Next time if he says anything, I will reply him. I will not heed. All those thoughts will be going on. Meditation means there should be no other thought at all in the mind. Or if you go for forest meditating, mosquitoes will bite you. Ants will come and climb upon you. Snake may come, scorpion may come in front of you, tiger may come. One small bee, one housefly also comes and sits on our face, you cannot tolerate that. What about going forest and meditating? Meditating, Constantly you have to be meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. That is very difficult. So easy meditation is we cannot abstain from some activities, right? So our activities itself we mold in such a way that we remember Krishna always. Like you have to cook for yourself. You have to eat food. When you are cooking, offer that to Krishna and eat. So like that Krishna has been indulged in your activity, it becomes Bhakti. Like that you can remember Krishna. So when you are cooking, you will be thoughtful. Oh yes, I have to offer to Krishna. Because I will not add onion garlic. I will not taste this. I have to prepare this by pure method, hygiene method, with purity. I have to prepare. So you are conscious there. You are conscious of when you purchase or when you clean the temple of the Lord, you are conscious about Krishna. You will be conscious of Krishna that I have to offer him such and such time. Duration I have to offer. Morning I have to offer in breakfast. Afternoon I have to offer it. Like that you are conscious. This is the best meditation. Always thinking about the serving the deity of the Lord. That is the best meditation. And chanting His name, the easiest meditation. Now at home you may worship the deity, but when you go to office, you cannot carry your the deity, you cannot do worship there. Then what is the means? Chanting. This chanting Hare Krishna is the best means. You can do anywhere wherever you are, any place. Just start chanting, you are worshiping the Supreme God, you are remembering. Easiest process is given, but still this is very difficult for us. Kaliyuga. This is called Vandas Mandamattayana. We are all very slow and we are all foolish. We are not that much intelligent, we are dull at make progress. We are very slow in making progress. We think that our whole life is done. You don't know whether you have the whole life or not. Next moment you will live or not, we don't know. But slowly you should take this Krishna consciousness seriously and always think about the Lord, all the circumstances, whether it is happiness or it is distress, always think about the Lord. He is there in your heart. He is not far from you. He is the nearmost person to you. He is the closest person to you. Just remember His name. He is there. Krishna, if you say, Krishna is there. So easy. He has made us easy. Krishna has made us easy process. So that we can achieve it. That is why the sages of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, they all glorify people who have taken birth in Kaliyuga. Why? For us it was so difficult syllabus, but it is so easy. Just you have to write ABC, that's all. For us it was so difficult syllabus, so difficult to please Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga. For you it is so easy. Just chant, do Hari Kirtana and Krishna is pleased by you. Will get Krishna's blessings. They attract his attention. Easy syllabus. But in that also we are telling that we should understand what level of intelligence we have. So with this I would like to conclude. Bhagavatam ki, the Prabhupada ki.